5 young boys create a rescue trampoline.
The first to run a marathon in under 2 hours.
We have seen what we thought was unseeable.
A relay of dogs will lead blind runner Tom Panic across the finish line.
Brittany Mouttet lost in the French Open, but then his 7-year-old son ran onto the cart to give his dad a big hug.
Her and her sister have been heroes for many little girls out there.
I want to thank my amazing mom. She's my hero.
I love you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
When you are free to be you, it is the best feeling in the world.
He's the Sully Sullenberger of pizza.
My family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans.
We know deep down what's right and what's needed.
I'm going to fight this.
Who says I can't? Nobody!
Here it comes. Never been done in competition.
The category is love, y'all. Love!
Use your heart, your courage and vision to fix, to heal, to empathize, to connect. Because living life for something bigger than yourself is a hero's journey.
Hello, everybody watching from all over the world. Welcome to the PowerUp Hero Show. I want to introduce you to myself, but before I do that, I want to bring my co-host, Megan Saucy. What's going on, Megan?
Hey, Lisa. I'm so excited. Today is such a special day for you.
I know, Megan. I have to tell everyone that today is our 50th anniversary. I'm so excited. Celebration, Megan. I even put a banner to say thank you to every single person who has ever been a part of this show from the very beginning. When I first started doing this show, which was just the beginning of a story of telling heroic stories, doing interviews and sharing lessons about how to be a hero. It wasn't supposed to go for this long. I was really literally thinking, oh, just 12. We'll be done with 12. And now here we are at our 50th episode. And I'm even more excited, Megan, because I can tell you that sometimes we do things because we are inspired by other people. We see other people doing this heavy lift and we see them doing amazing work. And so the person we're actually interviewing today, Megan, this amazing person right here is actually the reason why I felt so called to continue on this journey. You know, I'll never forget when Brittany invited me to be part of her podcast, and I was part of her podcast of the 100th episode, Megan. And I remember feeling like she's done 100 of something, right? And so every time I want to stop, I'm like, no, you can't, because Brittany's like rocking it and she's making it happen, and you can do it too, and everyone can do it, you know? So I just want to say today is really a thank you to every single person who has ever supported this show, because obviously nobody does anything in a vacuum. So thank you. Thank you to you, Megan, for just being here and supporting me in everything I've done. All the episodes haven't been 100% perfect, and you're still here, so that's good. So a big thank you. And I guess that's it. Yeah, I'm super excited, Megan. Super, super excited that this is our 50th episode.
Yeah, thank you to you, Lisa. And for people like Brittany who are shining a light on people in the community who we may not otherwise know, who we may not otherwise see, who we may not otherwise hear from. There's a lot of heroes that come and go through these shows and through the podcasts. And I know that it's other people's stories that definitely inspire me to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing. And I think you can attest to, and everyone else who's just a human, there's times where you want to quit. And it's stories like these that just motivate you. And, you know, they help you realize that if somebody else out there is doing it, then I can do it too. And if you're already doing it, then it's the thought that I need to keep going for somebody else who needs to hear and see me.
Exactly, right? Oh, and you know, when you see it happening, you know, you hear about this, right? Oh, representation matters. When you see somebody doing an amazing thing, it matters. You don't know whether you're touching one life or what the ripple effect of it is. But when it happens to you, you're like, oh my God, it's real, right? It's real. Somebody affected my life in this big way. And so with that, I think we should just jump straight into this interview. I'm super excited to be celebrating our most amazing Brittany Mouttet. So Brittany Mouttet is what we are calling a city champion and the creator of Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi. So today, as we are elevating a spotlight on Brittany, if you know Brittany as a city champion, or if you are a city champion, now Megan, we should probably define what a city champion is just for a second. So a city champion is anyone and everyone who says yes to community engagement, right? So you love your community where you live, you are a champion for it, and we love our city, right, Megan?
I absolutely love my city. I love all of my city champions, all of our government and public and community workers, everyone out there who's doing amazing things. Definitely the unsung heroes of this city who do not get nearly enough credit for what they do. And it's so cool, Lisa, because the other day I was actually at a restaurant and I was wearing my city champion shirt. And somebody was like, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I said, "Thank you." And he goes, "Do you know what that is?" And I said, "Yeah, I know what that is. Do you know what that is?" And he goes, "Yeah, I have a lot of family who work at the city." And I said, "Well, next time you run into somebody who's a city worker who's not your family member, thank them for their public service." And he said, "Do that."
Yeah, and the person who made the shirt, kidding. It's probably a shirt that you made that you were wearing. So so super excited. Thank you so much for that explanation, Megan. And so we are shedding a spotlight on Brittany Mouttet. Super excited. Brittany is a first-generation American on her father's side. She was born and raised in Corpus Christi, go Corpus Christi, and has always loved everything about the city. A true city champion, right, Megan?
Yes, 100% a true city champion.
Yes, and even better, Brittany attended Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, go Islanders, where she earned a bachelor's degree in biology. After graduating, she immediately started working for the City of Corpus Christi Water Department as a lab technician. And today, she is a senior project manager at our Owen Stevens water plant, which is, by the way, the only drinking water plant that serves the entire Corpus Christi region. She's their senior project manager. Can I get a hello? She's truly amazing. And in 2018, Brittany undertook a journey to start a podcast called Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi. We are going to hear the journey of how that podcast came to life, because this podcast is all about highlighting local women who are making a difference in our community. And I couldn't even be more excited to bring somebody who is a true hero in our community, but even more important for me, is a hero in my life. And so everyone watching, I welcome our city champion, host of the Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi, and we are calling her the PowerUp hero of Leading Ladies. Welcome, Brittany Mouttet.
Thank you. Congratulations on your 50th episode. That's huge.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I wish there was a way to put confetti on the screen, but yeah, so I'm super excited you're here. Gosh, did you know that when you interviewed me, I had 0 episodes? And so now we're here, and because of you, we're at 50 episodes, Brittany.
Wow.
I always see you in my mind. And I remember that episode we had with 100 episodes you had done. I remember thinking to myself, what have I done 100 of? And I remember literally telling myself, I mean, I can do 100 like squats. I don't know, like what hundreds of, right? So here we are, and I am here with the 100th person I'm interviewing, and it's you. So thank you. 50th person that we're interviewing. So I am just so happy that you're here with us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Y'all know how to hype a girl up too. My goodness. I have been in awe of you guys since you guys also work for the city, and y'all are incredible. The original OG city champion. So thank you for having me on.
Like, I don't know what that means, but yeah. I always feel like when we started that whole thing of city champion, we're the city champions, it felt like a little tribe, like we're just starting out underground, like starting the city champion vibe. And it literally grew. It actually, we didn't even ask permission. We just started calling ourselves city champions, and we started telling everyone, okay, we're going to start a city champions program, okay? And it just grew into this huge thing. And now everyone's a city champion. So just super exciting that it stuck, because I think it had meaning, right? I think it has meaning. I apologize. So Brittany, we're celebrating you today because not only are you a city champion, so we know you're all about public service, and you have committed yourself fully to making sure that the city of Corpus Christi is a thriving city. Water is life, so we thank you so much for your service. But we also thank you for your leadership in terms of leading ladies of Corpus Christi. I think has just been such a glowing representation of what it looks like to celebrate each other. Empowered women empower women, right? I think I've seen that tag somewhere, and you are the true definition of that. So congratulations on being our PowerUp hero of leading ladies. Super excited.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, Megan, I don't know if you mind, but I want to hear about Brittany before Brittany became Brittany of Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi. I want to hear about you, where you grew up. I know you grew up here in Corpus Christi, but tell us about little Brittany. Tell us about your family. Tell us about your upbringing.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm the middle child of 3. I'm also the only girl, which I think helps negate some of that middle child syndrome that you hear about. So very tomboyish, wanted to do whatever my brothers were doing, which was, skateboarding and, roughing about, that kind of thing. From a young age, I was always really into my dad's culture. He's from Trinidad and Tobago. And so just relished any time that I got to spend with his side of the family, just because the culture was so different than what I was accustomed to, in the day-to-day. I was considered to be gifted and talented. So I was in the gifted and talented program growing up. Whenever I was in high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I ended up falling into biology and ended up pursuing that as a degree plan. And then here I am.
Wow. And so you went from biology, and then did you get your first job at the city, or did you work somewhere else first?
No, first full-time job was with the city, working in their utilities laboratory.
Love that. So Can you just talk a little bit about what that actually means, right? I mean, you're a scientist, right? That's
I like to think so.
Right. And I think when we talk about career choices and we talk about women in the field of science, I mean, would you say that there's equal, or you could say equitable representation in your field for women to do the work that you do?
I will give the city credit in that I have always been surrounded by women in whatever particular position I've been in. So actually the laboratory was run by women at the time. Plenty of women lab techs. I think I would say it was more whenever I transitioned into project management and being more involved in construction, that it was definitely a male dominated field. And many times I'd be the only woman present. And so they kind of look at me like, what is this woman doing here? So, sometimes they wouldn't even address me directly. They would address the man that I was with. But then they would often be like, oh, if you need to ask Brittany, she's the one who would have that, answer that you're seeking, which was always kind of funny.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so who's in charge? You thought it was me, but it's actually her.
Yep. Yeah, and I think when I was younger, something like that would irk me, but now I just find it funny, because to me, it's a learning experience for these individuals too. So any preconceived notions that they may have had have to be out the window, at least that moment in time.
Yeah, and I guarantee they will never make that mistake again, right? Like a learning lesson for real. Yeah. They will never do it again. They'll be, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. And then they will remember that moment forever.
Oh, yes.
Yes. It's like the best way to learn is through experience, right? You can be told all day long not to make any biased judgments, right? And stereotype, but until you've done it.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a blunder and you're like, I don't know what to do now. You don't know.
And what's funny about that statement is that's so true whenever you're working in a lab, because you are going to mess up royally. I mean, instrumentation is going to go crazy on you, and it's just part of the learning process. So totally true when it comes to implementing the scientific method, for sure.
Love that. And so now you are a senior project manager at the city. Yes. And so what does it feel like, pretty much helping to support our entire community of water, right? I mean, we take our water very seriously here in Corpus Christi. So you're probably in one of the departments of a city functioning local government organization that has everyone's looking to make sure that everything's working perfectly.
Definitely. And so we always consider it that if you're not thinking about the water, you just turn on your faucet, get it, and move about your day. We're doing our job right. And the city of Corpus Christi is very fortunate because the individuals who are working in treatment, in particular at the water treatment plant, really care about the quality of water going out. Not to mention where my role comes in is projects to expand, our capabilities with water treatment. And so we're constantly thinking about growth and how we can better serve everybody while, of course, providing the best quality drinking water.
Love that. And I don't know, Megan, if you remember when we used to have new employee orientation and we always had to have that pollution prevention presentation about what was it about? The water going into the drains, right? What was that? I remember now. Stormwater. Yeah, it was stormwater training so that we could educate every new employee who came in was a city champion. And what do city champions do? They take care of the city. So it doesn't matter which department you got hired into. Now it's your job to make sure your neighbors are not, polluting our storm drains. And so I love that video because it was just interesting to me how, I worked for the city for 6 years and, well, I guess 7 years before I left. And the year that we started doing that video, I remember thinking half of this I didn't even know, right? And he was like calling myself a city champion. So I think there's just so much that people need to learn about the roles that every city employee has in terms of public service and see how they can be a support to that, right? So paying attention to how do we pick up trash, right? How does, even like how you said, if you don't pay attention to what's going on with your water faucet, then that's good. That's a win. You don't have to think about it. It's a win, So
exactly. Yeah, we're doing our job right if you're not having to be concerned about when you turn that faucet, water's coming out.
Yeah.
There's no second thought, and you just move about your business.
Yeah. And you're not worried about the quality of it or anything going wrong, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it so much. Okay. So let's talk now, just moving on a little bit about how we're calling you the PowerUp hero of leading ladies. How did that start? How did you become what we're calling a leading lady?
Oh, yeah, that's such a compliment. So, and I feel like this sounds like a cliche, but it is so true in my story. So I didn't intend to start a family when I did, but I, ended up having my son in 2017, and I was really amazed with what my body was capable of. I mean, it blew my mind. And of course, the thought process behind that was women are incredible. Look at what women can choose to do. And we're just amazing. We're so resilient. And as I'm reflecting on this, I just gotten off maternity leave and just thinking about all these incredible women in my life that were going back to school, starting a business, whatever it was. And I wanted to reach out to them and let them know, I think you're amazing. Please keep doing what you're doing. And then the idea just progressed to, well, why don't I just have a conversation with them and ask them how they came to this path of doing whatever it is they're doing. And then that's how the podcast was born.
Love that. And so I actually have I don't know, Megan, have you listened to the podcast before?
I have. I actually listened to one of the podcasts where Sarah Estrada was on, because Sarah's like my fashion guru idol. Amazing. And I was like, ooh, I got to listen to this.
Yes. And so here, I just wanted to pull this up for everyone. So if you've never heard of Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi, this is the podcast page. This is actually a Spotify page. So you can actually catch this show pretty much everywhere, right, Brittany? I think you're on, first of all, you're on SoundCloud, right?
Yes. Yes. So definitely SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify are the big three.
Okay. And I know later in the show, we are going to drop this link, but I'm just going to drop it now. You can always go to the link tree of Leading Ladies CC and be able to connect directly to however you like to podcast. So we're going to drop the link, which is linktree/Leading Ladies CC, so you can get to this podcast. But I'm showing the screen right now of our Spotify page. And as you can see, we're at episode 145 with Leading Ladies. Can we just get a congratulations right there? Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to try to find an awesome episode. Maybe we'll find the one for our fashion, I guess you could say expert. But do you mind telling us just a little bit about your process for this podcast? Like, I know now you're sharing stories with people, but how does it go? How do you reach out and where do you meet? How do the interviews go?
Sure. So when I first started off, I reached out to people I knew already who were, like I said, going back to school, starting a business, whatever. So they helped me ease into it. And then, of course, as time progressed, I started following people on Instagram, or people would follow me. And I realized there is a never ending supply of women doing incredible things. And it's really not just Corpus Christi, it's more the coastal bend. So initially I would reach out to people, and they're so incredibly gracious. They're just, yes, I think it's cool what you're doing, so I'd love to be a part of the show. And then it got to a point where people would reach out to me saying, hey, how can I nominate myself? Or how can I nominate someone? Which I love. So if anybody's listening to this and knows of somebody, or it's yourself, please reach out to me. I absolutely love that. And so really, before, it would be that people would meet me in person at my house, or I actually prefer to meet people in their own space because I like to be in their element whenever I'm interviewing them. And conversations are usually 45 minutes to an hour. There's really no prep. Well, Lisa, you remember, it's really off the cuff, very casual conversation where it's all about my guests. Nothing's off limits to talk about. And it's important to me to shine light on these women doing incredible things, because people need to know what's happening in Corpus Christi. I've lived here my whole life. Megan, you've lived here forever. And so you know how easy it is for people to just cast Corpus to the side. Nothing's happening in Corpus. And so I refuse to take that line down. And so that's the goal of the podcast.
Yes. And I love it. And as I was scrolling, I saw names that I know. Latoya Rodriguez, Crystal Garcia, I just love this, and so I was just scrolling and I was just thinking, Soraya Nones James, one of our biggest fans here on our show. By the way, our very first episode was Soraya.
Yes.
Yeah, super excited that she's on.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there we go.
Haley Rocha on there. I did not know you had done one with Haley Rocha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to be gold later, like this is going to be like the historical. Am I going up to find it? Anyway, there's so many, everyone. There's just so many. And so I think you're probably on a journey to, it's like an onion, right? You start to unpack like all the different layers of Corpus Christi womanhood, right?
Yes. And that's the thing, right? Is that you don't have to be a business owner or somebody who's in the spotlight in the community to be a guest. I want to talk to anybody that's just starting off, anybody who has the courage to lead life the way they want to.
Yeah.
I want to talk to.
Okay. Well, I want to play a little bit of it.
Oh, yes.
So yes. I don't know which one you want me to play, but
why not yours?
Yeah. Let's just do that one. Oh my God, I saw Nikki Riojas. Okay. Okay, let's play mine. It's not about me, but we're just gonna play mine because I want y'all to get a taste of the show. Where is it? I saw my name and now I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, we need to go up 100. And so let's just play a little bit for you all. I'm gonna click in and hit play.
I can't believe it's episode 100 of Leading Ladies of Corpus Christi podcast. And I'm sitting in a Zoom meeting with none other than Lisa Wisner. She's the founder of PowerUp.org, and she's also the Learning and Development Manager for the HR department for the city of Corpus Christi, among many other things. Thank you so much for joining me, Lisa. Brittany! Oh my God! Let me tell you, anytime somebody tells me they've done 100 of something, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that, first of all, you have done 100 of something, but then you chose me to be part of this with you. So, first of all, everyone listening right now, if you're driving, if you're in your house, wherever you are, you just need to send some good vibes to Brittany right now and give her high fives, because when's the last time you did 100 of anything?
Dang.
When's the last time you did that? And so, girl, let me tell you, first of all, it's such a pleasure to work with you. We work as peers at City Champions.
Yes, we do.
But it's even more of a pleasure to just be here with you.
Okay, I have to stop it. Do you know how weird it is to hear yourself? Like, in my head, I've just told myself, who are you? And your voice is so high-pitched. Stop talking already. Off, Oh my gosh. I was so excited, actually, by the way. I think I broke the Zoom, right? I was screaming, so I was just super excited. Oh, I remember, and now you're gonna make me want to go listen to the rest of this, remembering this day.
Guess you make it easy, because as a host, I'm sure you're like, okay, I hope my guest, is comfortable and likes the questions and whatever. So when you come out the gate that enthusiastic, as a host, that I'm like, okay, this is going to be great. Thank you. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm.
Well, you're welcome. Oh my gosh. Well, I was just mostly, I'll never forget when you invited me for my 100th episode. And I was like, okay, what do I need to be? What am I canceling? What are we doing? So I'm just excited. So thank you so much for inviting me. And it was so awesome because we were working together too. So it was so cool. We were both working for the same organization together. And so I feel like our little triangle here is perfect because Megan and I work together, and we've always worked. I feel like Megan, we've always worked together, right? We're working together forever. And so this is such a nice little warm environment where I think we can dig deep when it comes into the work itself, right? So we are talking here that, not only do we have full-time jobs, but we're also doing our passion project, right? And we're not letting our full-time jobs and our obligations for life kind of take over what we're passionate about, right?
That's right.
So, with that thread, can you tell us a little bit about, your life in terms of why we're calling you a hero, right? So sometimes we like to say, define a hero for us, but I just want you to just unpack for you in terms of how you're able to manage being your heroic self. I mean, what does that mean to you? How do you do that?
Wow, thank you for that. I can't say I really thought of myself in that way, So it's different. I think. Ultimately, I'm just going to embrace it because you put it out there. The hero aspect of myself that we all strive for is just the desire to continue to be better, to try being better. Just because you've maybe done things a certain kind of way for so long, maybe from, a past experience perhaps has affected how you have responded to things. You can always find ways to, heal and grow and be who you are truly meant to be, like we had talked about before the podcast started. So I think as I'm settling into becoming the woman I am supposed to be, it's really starting to reference myself first and foremost, while you need to know when it's best to utilize other people's knowledge on things and experiences. I do think that first and foremost, you have to be willing to listen to yourself first. And so that's something that I'm working on. And I think that it's benefited me as I move forward.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Listen to yourself first, Megan.
Yeah, because I've been very much, all while growing up, it's what does everybody else think? What does everybody else, I'm going to do this. What do you think about that? Rather than what do I really think about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We actually just did not a podcast. We just did an interview for somebody who we helped launch their TED Talk, because that's another thing we do. If you have a TED Talk inside of you, Brittany, I think you do. Let's launch it.
About it.
Yeah. I think I always invite people 100 times, and then finally they're like, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, I broke them down. Anyway. But anyway, the point is he told his message, and he already has I think we just launched his podcast last week, his TED Talk last week, and he already has 3,000 views, which is not typical of just launching a podcast within a week. And his topic is finding joy by disappointing others. And his whole premise there is we do so many things because, it looks good at work. So-and-so will think I'm making them proud. And it's like, you work so hard tap dancing for everybody else. What about you? What do you want?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, and he had so many comments. People going, I feel you could hear, just in the words, you could hear people crying, right, of their time on YouTube. So I think that's a topic that is resonating more and more than ever before. I think somehow or another there's an awakening of people realizing that you come first. Your own love for yourself, it should be number one. Then you have love to give, right? Otherwise, if you don't have enough for yourself, how are you going to give others?
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it. All right. So now I want to talk about superpowers, because we know that in this world, juggling all these different things, people have to pull superpowers from somewhere. So we talked about you being the PowerUp hero of leading ladies. What do you think your superpower is?
I would have to say it's kind of like a compound superpower. So it's the ability to listen and really take in information. Mm-hmm. But also make people feel accepted and comfortable enough to really be vulnerable that to me is a superpower, because I'll have people sitting down with me and they'll share something and say, I haven't told anybody that, or I haven't thought about that in a long time. And it's interesting. Your line of questioning just dredged it up, you know? And I think that that's a pretty incredible thing.
So you connect dots for people.
Yes.
Yeah. And that takes a special mind, right? I guess somehow along your life, you figured out a way to listen, because that's an art. I take videos and courses about listen more, right? That's what they say, is that it's an art. You actually have to learn to listen and hear what the people are saying, even though they're not saying it, right? Because I think people talk more, even if people talk more with the way they say things and even the words they're using.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's almost like you're intuiting, and everybody has intuition,
you
know, and it's just, I guess, leaning into that.
So we could pretty much just wrap it up with one word. Your superpower is your intuition.
Oh, I love that.
You are an intuitor. I don't know. Somebody just bring it in here. I am not a grammarian. But yes, so we'll figure that out. We'll find a word for there. But yeah, I really like that. That is, I don't think we've had anyone like that. It almost sounds like magic, right? You sound magic.
Right. That's why I love it.
Yeah. Like you're bringing it all together, and you're going to be on America's Got Talent, and you're just going to help everyone. Kidding.
Yes.
Love that show, by the way. America's Got Talent. Everyone's got talent, by the way. So with that in mind, we always like to bring in a story about how you got to where you're at, right? So, and I always like to say sometimes people find their path through pain, right? Or they find their path through challenges, right? So before we do that, for this 50th episode, I want to bring back when we used to do lessons about what a hero was. And so today you're going to learn about the hero's journey, and then we'll hear from Brittany about her heroic journey in becoming our PowerUp hero of leading ladies. We'll see you in a little bit.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear.
The hero's worst fear, Megan. We are celebrating our very own Brittany Mouttet, who is our city champion, and also we unpacked the PowerUp hero of leading ladies. And with that, I bring Brittany to answer for us, what is this dragon you're going to slay? The biggest ordeal. You know, we're talking about the heroic journey. Things are going well, and then you get a calling, right? So we're talking about you had your son, and you're just like, oh, I really need something here. I need to tell stories. So tell us about something that you may have gone through that was a journey for you that led you to where you're at right now.
Sure. So I really haven't experienced anything too terribly trying externally. I feel like my battles have all been internal and with my own mindset, essentially, because, and it's ironic because I'm all about empowering others and hyping other people up constantly. But when it comes to myself, I can be, I don't know. I almost like cast it to the wayside, or like, do you really think you can do that? Like, it's almost like my ego can be a little overpowering at times. And by ego, I mean, the mind, whenever it can get into the negative cycle of, questioning whether or not I'm capable or worthy. And so honestly, it's an ongoing thing even now is, okay, what's next? And not to mention a comparison game, right? So I can easily get caught up in a comparison game, and it's small wins every time I can really just put the focus on, okay, what am I doing now that I can be proud of, as opposed to just letting my mind run rampant on doubts on myself.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Honestly, it kind of brings me to what I was thinking about earlier, and how your show has impacted your family, and how you juggle your family and your show at the same time. And I always wondered, because your husband used to work at the city with us also, and he was in the communications department. So I always imagined, because I never asked, I always imagined him like helping you produce the show while you were the voice of the show.
Yes.
And then when you were talking just now, I was thinking about how beautiful it's going to be later when your son gets older and he has all of these recordings to listen to, and how he can say probably how his mom taught him how to respect wonderful, powerful women.
Megan, oh my gosh, thank you. That really puts things in perspective for me, that's cool to hear. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, he's going to have some awesome stuff to look forward to. And it's not until we get a little bit older that we appreciate those things about our parents, all those little things that they did for us. Or I know, Lisa, you have a book for your sons, like all those little things, they don't become so vitally important until you get older. And I just, as you were talking, I could see when he gets older, he's going to appreciate these recordings so much. And he is going to be one heck of a man, because he has a strong, powerful mom who teaches him how to love other strong, powerful women.
Thank you. And that's so important to me too, is to, raise a man that is respectful of women and acknowledges their capabilities as equals. And that's big.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like the blueprint. Like, I think when kids are little, that's where it starts, right? So like right now is when you're impacting. And so I think it's going to be awesome. Regardless of, whatever happens in his life, he's always going to have that blueprint of women are empowered to be the best that they can be, right?
Yep.
I love that so much. One thing that you did talk about was, the work that you're doing, and then some of your kryptonite being the comparison game. Yep. Sometimes internally, a lot of times we always look outwardly for, that's in my way, that's causing me issues. And we don't realize that sometimes the issue is inside of us, right? The external issues, sometimes we have no control over them, but we have control of ourselves. And how difficult is that? But it's so hard, right? Because you see people doing stuff and you're like, why am I doing that? How can I do that? Like, why?
Yes.
And you try to get there. So I want to talk shop a little bit, because we both have podcasts, and and so I've been podcasting for a while, and I would think I was podcasting before I knew that I should have continued podcasting. So when you start on something and you're just like, yeah, I'm just doing that, and then you realize later, oh, it's a big thing now, I should have continued.
Yeah.
Having a YouTube channel, I had a YouTube channel back then when YouTube wasn't a thing, and I just kind of like messed around with it. And now I'm like, imagine if I kept up my YouTube channel, like where would we be right now, right? So, I mean, just thinking about podcasting, if somebody wanted to jump into podcasting, Megan, maybe if you want to have your own podcast, I don't know. Let's just talk through that, right? So if you were to coach Megan, right, to start her own podcast, like what would be the one thing that you would tell her to focus on?
Absolutely. Yeah, Megan, you would be amazing. So let me think. If you really want to start a podcast, it can be as simple as recording a track on your phone. If you have a digital recording like app and you really want to try it out, you can do that. And you can also upload to platforms like SoundCloud for free. So if you wanted to just get your feet wet, it is very simple to do. I would say that if you have the idea to do it, start off really simple. And if it's something that you really enjoy, then invest money in it. Because I think people believe that you have to invest a lot of money in it up front, which is great. If you have those kind of resources, definitely do it. But don't let that deter you from giving it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then one more thing, because this was something that I think helped me a lot. Don't necessarily go in with any expectations, because all I wanted whenever I recorded episodes was for the person I interviewed to listen to it and like it. That was it. I didn't look at streaming numbers, anything like that. And I think if you don't get caught up in those numbers, you're going to have a really good time of it.
Let me ask you this. How did you choose a podcast over something that's more visual, like a show like this?
Okay, so you guys are putting in a ton of work to be doing video. That's a lot of work. I mean, I saw Lisa prepping and it's a lot. And so I'm realistic with the kind of commitment I wanted to put into it. Audio tracks are very easy for me. So, but I wanted to touch on that, Lisa, how you were like, I don't like how hearing my own voice and that kind of thing. You're going to have to get over that.
Yeah, I know. I can't even listen back. Like after an episode and I have to load it into the podcast, I can only listen for too long and I'm like, okay, wait, whatever. Yes. And you know what's funny is I had to get over, for some reason, I don't know whether it's everyone, but I don't like how my voice sounds. And so when I hear myself, I feel like it's too much. But I've always been that kind of person who felt like I had something to say. And I've had things happen in my life where I realized, if not now, then when? What are you waiting for? Like, who even cares who likes your voice, you know? And so I think I got to the point where I was like, this ain't for you. This is for me. You know, this is my life. And so I don't care if you don't like my voice. And here I'm going even higher as I'm saying I don't like my voice. But I like how you said that about not tracking the likes and the views and all that, because yes, Megan, that can get you really like in a place where you're like, forget it, I don't want to do this anymore. Only one person watched, you know? But actually over time you start to create a library and it's not even for other people, right? It's about you checking your own box on your consistency, your discipline. And to be honest, for me, I feel like I learned so much from these episodes that it's now become a moment for me to go and learn, right? And can you imagine like how I feel like I'm over here interviewing people and I'm learning, and I don't have to go like take a seminar and a course. This is my learning time while I'm doing this. So it's just become my thing now, where I'm like, this is where I come to learn. Tell me, Brittany, how can I be like you? And I learn. So yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, I also like how you said to start small, because when I first ever started podcasting, I literally was using, you know, those old school iPhones. I mean, nowadays they're all awesome. They got awesome video.
Yep.
And I would literally have the phone upside down because this is where the mic is. And I had the phone stand and I would hold it like this. And then I would hit record. And like, that was me. Like I would record and then
I love this.
Uploaded. I use a system called Spreaker. I don't know if you use SoundCloud. I use Spreaker, which is old school. If anybody was probably like, she uses Spreaker. Yes, I'm like, driving an old car and people are like, you still drive a car like that? Yep. I'm still. It's my go podcasting platform. Don't knock it. But you can just start, right? You can just really go to the park and even record ASMR. By the way, I don't know if you know what ASMR is, but that's like an addiction I have now, is listening to just sounds of like birds or water. And it's so calming for me, right? Yes. Or somebody cooking in the kitchen. It's just so weird, you know.
I love that one. That's a good one.
The onion sizzling or whatever it is. Those sounds sound so good. And you can even start a podcast like that, Megan. Just record yourself cooking.
You'd be really good, Megan, because you also you can tell like you're listening and you have follow-up questions, you know, that makes a good host, and you're genuinely interested in what we're talking about. That's big.
Yeah, honestly, I've never really had an interest. If anything, there should be like an awesome role for like piggybacking off of other people's stuff, because I love being here with Lisa. I love being on your show and just being like the audience, the live audience, and the ears and the eyes. And because Lisa knows what questions she wants to ask, but I get to ask sometimes whatever question I want to ask. And I like that.
Flavor. It's like when you're cooking and then you have to have those spices in there. Otherwise the food is just bland. That's Megan's.
She's the spice.
Spice in there. Add the turmeric and the paprika, whatever else Megan is made of.
Sometimes people are like, whoa, I didn't know you were going to ask that question. But honestly, I really I want to hear the vulnerable stuff, and that's why I like leading ladies so much, is because it takes off the covers sometimes, and you get to touch on vulnerable things that you may not otherwise hear. And I think that's where the true power lies, is in that vulnerability and people's ability to just share the things that they've been through, so that we can learn from those and in turn apply them to our lives, and so that we know that we're not alone. And I mean, there's so many things that come from vulnerability, and when we learn to use that and wield that as our superpowers, I think that's the real thing that helps people.
Yeah,
definitely.
We have by the way, we have our first episode ever of Suraida watching right now. Suraida and Honest James, welcome to the show.
Hi, Suraida.
Yes, so we're so excited. And also, Suraida says all three of you need your own show, just like The View.
Hey, that's good.
For real, we should just get on that, Corpus Christi. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Since we're all city champions here, we'll just call it the City Champion Show. And so with that, we want to go into some fun. And so, Megan, we love doing fast 5 finger favorites. And so maybe for the 51st episode, I'll come up with some music to play, like or some fun, like fun music. I don't know what that sound was. Definitely not a sound effects person, so we need help with that category. So, Brittany, we're so excited you're here. You are our Power Up hero of leading ladies. We just unpacked that your superpower is intuition. I don't know. Somebody put it in the chat, whatever the right word is. What is your favorite book? What do you like to read? Tell us.
Favorite book off the top of my head would have to be Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman.
Ooh, I haven't read that one.
It's really good, and most people know the movie but not the book. While they're similar, the book is better. I am that kind of person.
I love the movie. I used to love that movie when I was younger. Oh,
it's so good.
So now swiftly into movies. Is that your favorite movie? Kidding.
No. So my favorite movie would have to be The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. I love that movie.
Oh, that movie just takes you on a journey, right?
Oh, I cry every time.
Yeah. It's so crazy how, like, it's just all the little things come together and you start realizing that all those little things are big things, and you're like, oh my gosh, at the end,
yes.
Right? Oh my gosh. I need to watch it again. I can't remember.
It's so good. And I'm such a romantic and believer in soulmates and that kind of thing. And to me, it's, you got to watch it. It's kind of sci-fi. It has a lot of really great actors in it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So if you don't mind, suspended disbelief, because there is a little bit of sci-fi themes.
Yes, I like it too. Have you seen it, Megan?
I've seen it. I really like Jim Carrey. I've always liked Jim Carrey. I especially like him in his serious roles. He should totally do more serious roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's unexpected. Oh. It's
so
like
good.
when like Denzel Washington is like a bad guy, and you're like, what just happened? You were supposed to be the good guy. Like,
He's so good at it, though. He's so good at it.
I know. It's like, I can't pick now. Anyway, okay. What is your favorite song, or what type of music do you like to listen to?
Okay, favorite song is hard, but currently I'm listening to a band called Chicano Batman. They're out of LA. To me, they're like a mix of Sublime, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and NERD, which was Pharrell's band. They're really good. Yeah, and they're actually going to be playing a show at House of Rock in November. So if the pandemic is acting right, I'll be going. I recommend. Yeah, y'all check them out. Particularly a song called Pastel Sunrise. Really good.
Ooh.
Say the band again.
Chicano Batman.
Chicano Batman. They remind me. I haven't listened to them, so I don't know. But they remind me of whenever I first discovered Los Lonely Boys.
Ooh.
And I remember thinking, who are these people? And then realizing that they were coming to Corpus, or it was just like this whole thing of, oh my gosh, Los Lonely Boys. And then the whole family became a Los Lonely Boys fan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you all know them, but
yes.
Oh yeah.
They're from Texas, actually.
Yeah, they're awesome too. Okay.
I used to follow them.
I will check them out, and we all love going to shows, so definitely gonna consider that. What is your favorite quote, or what do you like to say? Favorite phrase?
Ooh, favorite quote would have to be, the one that's coming to mind is doubt. Wait, what is it? Ooh, is it doubt kills more dreams than I'll have to look it up. I have to look up
Okay.
that one. Yeah, it's
I
doubt kills more dreams than
need to look it up for you.
trying ever will, or something like that. I need to look it up.
I'm looking it up for you. So you said doubt kills more dreams.
Yeah, doubt kills more dreams maybe than failure ever will, or something.
There you go. Yeah, you got it. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Yes, like we doubt ourselves more than anything, right?
Yes. Yep.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the next one is a fun one for me. I really like this one. I want to know how you wake up in the morning. When you throw those covers off, what happens? How does our power pure of leading ladies wake up in the morning to meet the day?
So I try to wake up at least 15 minutes earlier than I normally would. And that's to just implement some stillness. Some people call it meditation, but it's really just kind of clearing my mind, listening to my breathing. Just that 15 minutes helps really set my day right. And so it's just getting up, and I'm a morning person. So as soon as I get up, everything's really systematic for me. So it's, waking up my kid, eating breakfast, putting on makeup, getting dressed. And then of course the drive to work is about 20 minutes for me. So it's really listening to something that I know has a good message and is really gonna, prep me for the day.
I love that. Yeah. And before you got here, Megan, I thought I was coming on the show early. Okay. So I was like, oh, I have 2 minutes. Here I am, like 2 minutes. She's already here waiting for me backstage. I'm like, and then I was like, oh, so glad you're here. And here was I thinking I was going to be a bit early. And she's already here. And then she tells me, she goes, yeah, I'm just always early for everything.
Always. I say I'm annoyingly punctual because I'm like always early.
I love that. And it just means you're organized. It just means that you have an organized life, that's true mastery of life.
I appreciate that. It's not as organized as you would think, but especially to me, being invited on this podcast, what an honor. I'm like, no way I would ever make you wait for me. You know what I mean? Like it's an honor to even have been asked.
Well, Brittany, I think we just need to make you realize who you are. I am like complete opposite of what you're saying right now, because I think like you're such a star, so you just need to know how much love there is for you, because you're so amazing. Gosh, you're everything.
Thank you.
We all want to be you when we grow up. We all want to interview like you. And so, yeah, you're truly amazing. So this actually leads into the next question, which I absolutely love too. I love a lot of these questions, which are, we know that heroes understand that time is the most valuable resource that we could ever have. So how do you maximize your time? How do you make sure that you get all your stuff done? How do you hack life?
So I think the first and foremost, I'm realistic. There's certain things that aren't going to happen in a time frame, and you need to be flexible with that. Of course, prioritizing, what's important to you, what really does need to get done. And that's not hard to figure out. I think if people are really honest about it. I have a friend. I have to give this as an example. So we're in Austin for her birthday, and we have to they made reservations in Austin, which if you know anything about that, you better be on time. And everything takes forever to get to. And it's 15 till we're supposed to be at the restaurant that's 20 minutes away. And she's cleaning like around her sink because I'm a guest in her house. So she feels like it needs to be clean. Not important. I'm a friend. I love you. We're here for your birthday. You do not need to be cleaning that when we should be in a car on the way to your reservation. So just things like that. Really be honest about what needs to be done. Does it matter that your countertop is dirty right now? It might not in the moment. And I'm not saying neglect, because all of those tasks are important. But I think there's a way to take care of those maybe incrementally rather than all at once or in a really short time frame, to maybe where it's quality over quantity, really, right? Like, not how many tasks can I get done in an hour, but how many tasks can I do well in an hour?
Wow. I needed to hear that.
Yeah. And not only hear it, but live it too, Megan. I'm sorry. I'm like, I need that. Because, maybe another reason why we're late is because we're like, oh, it takes about 20 minutes to get there. I'm already ready. Oh, the dishes. Oh, let me just put in a load of laundry. Next thing you know, you get on Staples Street. And if you know Staples Street, the whole world is on Staples Street at the same exact time that you need to be somewhere. So it's like, that's what happens to me. That's how I get late.
Well, and I admire people that really try to maximize their time that much. I think I just tend to be more like, am I really going to give it its due diligence and best effort right now? Probably not. So I'll just wait till I have more time.
Yeah. And being present. And that's actually a thread in a lot of the interviews we've been doing recently, Megan. I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of people are talking about how just take a breath. A lot of our heroes are saying, so we need to listen. I need to listen, okay? I'm being told by these really super awesome people to take a breath, relax, and not multitask, right? Just do the thing when you're supposed to do it 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So now we are reaching the phase of our interview where we want to talk about your future, okay?
Ooh.
So imagine yourself 5 to 10 years from now. What do you see?
Let's see. So I'm really seeing myself just being more comfortable with who I am, maybe pursuing other creative endeavors that I've been too nervous to start. There's that doubt creeping in, right? But really overcoming that and attempting these ideas that I have, attempting to bring them to fruition. And so I think it's that. Really, my focus lately has been more on self-reflection and healing. And that sounds so, I'm hearing myself say it and it just sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's really true. Just really reflecting on why am I the way that I am in certain regards, and what I can do to maybe, mold myself into someone who's more willing to take chances and pursue something that I've been wanting to do for years.
I love that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good future. I want that future.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can appreciate
woo-woo.
Yeah, I can appreciate your woo-woo. Honestly, I 100% can appreciate it, because I think about the person who is the opposite, who's not self-reflecting, who's not thinking inward, who's not thinking about how they can be a better human being. I mean, and those people, they just kind of wander around the earth, right? They just wander their whole lives and unaffected by the people that they do or don't touch, or how they touch them in a negative way or in a positive way. And they just do them. And I appreciate the fact that you're looking inward, the fact that you're trying to improve yourself so that you can continue to affect other people in their lives and in their stories. And I think anything that you do inside and it's woo-woo, it's going to be for the better of leading ladies and for all of us here in Corpus. And I can appreciate 100% the show. And when I see you on Instagram and when I see you on Facebook, I see other ladies rallying around you, and I love that, because I think that is something that we lack as females, is not being in competition with one another and instead lifting each other up. And there's sometimes we hear it and sometimes we see it. And so sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, yeah. You say that to say that because it's a trend to say that, right? But when you see it, that's a whole nother ballgame. And I think I see that around you constantly. And I love it.
Thank you. And yeah, that is an important distinction. And I'm glad that you brought that up. And maybe it's a fake it till you make it thing, but when people are touting women empowerment, are they walking the talk, and maybe they are, and we're just not seeing it. But yeah, like you said, it's really important to, if you're claiming that you're really putting it out there and being supportive of others and looking out for them, and, just be like looking at it as a community thing.
Yeah. And when I heard your vision, it reminded me of, I don't know if you know of this lady called Marissa Peer.
No, I haven't heard of her.
Marisa, and the last name is Peer. And I've taken one of her courses, and she talks about having an uncompromising life. And everything you're talking about just you actually kind of remind me of how she talks to us in these courses that we've taken with her. So so Marissa Peer, I need to send you that.
Check her out. Yes.
Oh, she's really amazing. She does this I'm really into like hypnotists and all this kind of like learning about your mind, right? So going into your mind and affecting your subconscious, and just
everything.
All that transformative learning for me is something that I just feel like is magical, right? Because you think you can hack your life if you can hack your subconscious mind. And it has to do with hypnotism, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that you have buried that you wouldn't have access to, and hypnosis is a way to access.
Yeah, and so aside from all that, right, that may be woo-woo also to somebody else, she has just this message about how we just need to be enough, right, by going into our own, awakening into ourselves. So I found her, Marissa Peer. You'll need to check her out. She's amazing.
Yes, I will.
Yes. Okay, so with that, we'll go back into our celebration mode. Thank you so much, Brittany. We're so excited that you are here for us on our 50th episode. We appreciate you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. We know you are everything. Congratulations on your 145 episodes, by the way. Oh my God.
Thank you.
You are truly, you have big names in your podcast, by the way. And so we're truly inspired by you. And we hope to continue to be like you, right? We're all looking to be like Brittany one day. And so hopefully we get there.
Thank you guys so much. I love what y'all are doing. And to me, y'all are taking it to the next level with the live streams and the, really amazing graphics and the questions. And I mean, it's fantastic. And I love everything you guys are doing. So please keep it up.
We will. And we have Soraya also saying, much love to you, Brittany.
Love you.
She loves you too. And so love you too, Brittany. Bye.
Bye.
Megan. That was amazing.
I know. I love being woo-woo. I like when I find woo-woo people because I think I'm a woo-woo person. I'm going to start saying woo now forever.
You know what's funny is, so all this woo-woo stuff that I do, right? So all the stuff that people do when they wake up and they have their affirmations that they do, it's all woo-woo, right? Because you're doing stuff to affirm yourselves. I mean, writing stuff on your mirror of your bedroom, like just reminding yourself with all these words everywhere, right? You just have to remind yourself it's woo, but it works. It really works. I think it works because you feel a shift, right?
Yeah.
Really
and then not
attention.
Also, not only the woo for yourself, but the woo for other people. Other people need your woo.
They do. They do. And so that's actually a strength. Oh, here's the book again. I can never get this book off. I try to put this book on the bookshelf. And it's like every day it comes back to me, Megan. Strength Finder.
Oh, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it, but I see it now.
Like I literally, I get what I need from the book and then I put it back on the bookshelf. And then next thing you know, the next day I grab it again and I put it back on the bookshelf. And so in this book right here is pretty much everything you need in your life. So if you've never heard of the Strength Finder program that's actually run by Gallup, there's an awesome author called Tom Rath who wrote this book. And in here, there's a theme or an idea or a strength called being woo. Okay. So are you a woo, Megan? Maybe I can tell you.
I have to be. I know I've taken Strength Finder before. I just can't remember what my stuff is.
I'm definitely not a woo. In fact, the way Strength Finder works is it gives you your top 5 strengths, but it also gives you all the other strengths in whatever order, right? Woo is like, I think 36, which is like the last one for me, which is so bad to say that. But the reason I bring that out is because woo stands for winning others over. So WOO, you enjoy the challenge of meeting new people and getting them to be comfortable. Strangers are rarely intimidating to you. On the contrary, strangers can be energizing to you because you are drawn to them. You want to learn their names, ask them questions, and find some area of common interest with them. And it goes on and explains how a woo person is really about just listening to people. So maybe one of Brittany's superpowers was woo.
Yeah, 100% she's a woo.
She said woo-woo, and you think it's woo-woo. And here we go. It's already hacked. It's in a book. So, I didn't make that up. Man, can we just talk about how water is life? And if you don't have to think about the water in your faucet, Brittany's done her job. If you don't have to think about her job, she's done her job. I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and we think about we think about the jobs that we're at in public sector and private sector and how, like private sector, it's, money, how are we going to make this business last? How are we going to help our customers? But public sector is so special because they only have one interest, and that's the interest of the people in their community and helping them get water to their homes and helping them feed their dogs and helping them do their dishes, not feed their dogs. Give water to their dogs and cats, helping you do your dishes and take your, a bath with your kids, and all that stuff. Like they think about those things.
Yes. the things that you shouldn't be thinking about, right? And even when we're driving down the street and the traffic light goes green and red and whatever it does, and everything's operating and the system, and we're all happy and it's a happy ecosystem. That is city local government at work. And we live in an amazing city. So congratulations to all the city champions out there who are making this a beautiful city to live in. We wouldn't have it any other way. We absolutely love it here. And we know everyone's working to their fullest potential to make it happen. Everybody there is a hero in our eyes. And I absolutely love this whole reference of being a hero by Brittany, which is a hero is a person who wants to be better. They want to try to be better, and they use themselves, and obviously I'm paraphrasing here, they use themselves as a reference first. So listen to yourself first. No, not what other people are telling you that, oh, if you do this, you'll be a hero. Listen to yourself first. Isn't that awesome? I love that.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what, like you said, everybody's been kind of saying the same thing about the whole oxygen mask thing.
Yes.
Do what you got to do for you first so that you can go and do for others.
Yeah. Soraya, sorry, I didn't catch this earlier. Soraya is a woo. I don't know why I laugh when I see people are woos, because I'm like, I just don't know whether I just don't have woo. Mine are like competition, achiever, like all these hardcore ones. And I'm like, is that really what I come off as? Like being like that? I don't want to. I want to be a woo. And so here we go. Soraya is a woo. I wouldn't expect it any other way. And yes, woo is my fourth strength. There you go. There you go. I love it. I love it so much. So yes, actually, if you haven't taken the Strengths Finder assessment, it costs about $20, except for if you work for the city of Corpus Christi, you can get it for free. And so just contact the Human Resources Department and ask them you want to do it, because that's where we used to do it. And you'll end up finding out what your strengths are. And the reason why it's important to know what your strengths are, this is why I say I pull this book all the time, is because it lets you understand how to deal with situations happen. So when I know I need to pull one of my strengths, I go to the book and I see, okay, I need to assert myself more or less, or I need to build more relationship with this person, and I think they're a woo. So let me go read how to resonate with a woo, right? And so that's why it's like my go-to. It's my go-to. It's like my little cheat sheet book that I use. But tons and tons of stuff here, Megan. I mean, I can go on and on in terms of, hacking your life by being realistic, right? So just be realistic about your time and what you can do. And so I think we had a great show today. I think it was an awesome show with Brittany. And so happiest 50th to us, right? You know, when people have those 50th birthday parties and they have those 50 balloons. We're 50!
Yes, we didn't have a real party.
Yeah, I should have gone some balloons. So with that, I want to thank you so much, Megan, for being here with me and being here for this journey. And hopefully you continue to be on this journey with me. And if you are ever so inclined to start a podcast, we're here for you. Brittany said that we can support you. I'm here to support you. Let's get your podcast launched if you want to do one, okay?
I wouldn't have it any other way than being here with you guys. I will see you next time.
Okay, bye. And there you have it. We had a great time celebrating 50 years. 50 years, oh my gosh. 50 episodes of the PowerUp Hero podcast. Super excited to be here with Brittany Mouttet, who graciously gave me a vision, something to look forward to. And so I ask you today, what are you looking forward to? What have you done 50 of? Or what have you done 100 of? Let's go. Let's get it done. If you want to find out more about the PowerUp Hero that we just interviewed, go to our podcast page. It's poweruphero.org. Pretty much everywhere, all over the screen, you probably see it. poweruphero.org. And if you know a role model in our community who deserves to be featured on this show, you can visit our page and nominate them. Again, that website is www.poweruphero.org. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're watching right now. So for reference, we are on pretty much everything you could be listening on. So we're talking about YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I can go on and on. Even your Alexa will play the PowerUp Hero show. But most important, I have to bring in my friends Verbal. Verbal is an amazing platform that has just featured us as the diversity, equity, and inclusion ambassadors for their entire platform. So we are tasked with making sure that all the work that we're doing, we're finding all that content that has to do with D&I, and we're really enjoying that journey that we are celebrating with Verbal. So thank you so much, Verbal, for that feature. And if you feel like you have a story to tell, we want to hear from you as well. So please go to our website and nominate yourself. So as much as you can nominate other people, look at yourself as a hero. And we want to hear your story, and we want to bring you on this show. We hope that you are educated, we hope you are inspired, and we hope you are encouraged to be a PowerUp hero for the community that you serve, for your teams that you get to serve with, your city champions, for your family and friends, for your career, for yourself, and most importantly, for the world, because our world needs more heroes today, more than ever before. I hope you make today a Powered Up day. Bye.